We're now going into our next segment of Tarantino Unchained.
The Tarantino 10.
Yeah. And this week, this is part 4, Kill Bill Volume 1 from 2003. I'm going to let you start out with your review of this movie. So spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen this movie that's 20 years old now.
Yeah, well, I saw it like 20 years ago.
Well,
I think I've seen it. I saw it twice because I think I saw it shortly after that as well.
It's very female-centered.
I think...
On Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 85% certified fresh rating and an 81% audience score. And there's definitely a lot of ratings here. So, overall, looking pretty good. And it's less than 2 hours, which is what I enjoyed.
I think at the time, I liked it a lot better when I first watched it than I did now. Because I think a lot of people have copied it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why. At the time, it was kind of big groundbreaking in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's still a beautiful film. It's really violent though, and I didn't get the whole anime thing. I don't think when I first saw it either. It's supposed to be kind of putting that in as a real film.
Yeah, what was with that animated section?
I think the whole thing is supposed to be kind of copying as if it was like an anime.
That was what I Oren's origin story, Lucy Liu's character.
But I think the whole thing is similar to that with all the gushing arms and all the amputations. This movie has the most amputations of any film in history.
There's a lot of limbs being cut off by katanas.
But it's also like it is very much like a cartoon. But it's still really beautiful, and a lot of the stuff about it, especially the ending. Anyway, but it's gross as well.
It is very much made in the style of a spaghetti western. So, as we know, Quentin Tarantino loves spaghetti westerns, and so a lot of his movies, he makes them as if it's a western. Not all of them, but this one definitely.
Well, mixed with anime.
It's all those long shots
Japanese.
And stare-offs of,
Bionic
two warriors.
Stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff.
They're they kind of have like noises for things and stuff. I don't know. It's fun. I think probably a lot of people have sort of copied it a bit now, because when I first saw it, I thought it was really different. But now I think we've seen a lot of this kind of stuff.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, but it still is good. And the acting is great.
It starts off with a fight with Uma Thurman and Vivica A. Fox.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is pretty good in a house, and also it turns into a knife fight, and the dialogue, there isn't that much dialogue. I don't
like fighting, but I do enjoy this.
But the dialogue is great. She's like, "Come at me, bitch." Okay? Which is exactly what they would say.
It moves, it's so fast.
And then the daughter comes in, they have to stop and hide the knives behind their backs.
Right. There's no dancing in it, but the fighting is like dancing.
Yeah, it's all choreography.
Lucy Liu, the way she walks is really fun too. Did you notice how she walks?
Yeah, in those weird Japanese sandals.
No, but even she walks like really fast, even when she's fighting without her shoes on. And stuff.
I didn't notice.
Anyway, anyway, it's just really, it's something else. But at this point, you don't really know what the story is. You don't really get it all, because you have to watch the second part.
No. Yeah, so Bill's just in the background, who's played by David Carradine. Why would he pick David Carradine for this role?
Because he was the American guy trained in these arts.
This movie,
that's why.
He's just David Carradine is another white guy who took an Asian guy's job, because he took Bruce Lee's job for Kung Fu, the TV series.
He was doing this kind of sword fighting and stuff, and that's who we found. I guess that's who we wanted to be in it. Of course, we don't look on him as favorable as we used to.
I don't think he's he's not known for being the nicest person. I don't think I want to get into David Carradine's reputation.
Like in a really bad way?
I don't know.
Yeah. Pretty sure. Unless I'm wrong.
Unless you want to look that up.
I'm pretty sure.
This movie is made as if it's in the 1960s, and it starts off with really bad video and audio, and I believe they do that on purpose. Because as we sat down to watch this, I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on? Did you scratch up your DVD? Because you actually have the physical media of this that you bought 20 years ago.
I didn't buy it.
Well, you still have it, because I didn't buy this movie. So it's made as if it's a 60s kung fu action, but it's done in the style of a spaghetti western. Because it's all the. And it does have some interesting music in it. Sometimes I found the music was very out of place. Now, the action in it, I did enjoy some of the action scenes, even though I'm not really a fan of this style of action. And I don't mean, having women fighters afterwards. That's great. And the dialogue he puts in it, great as well, when they're trash talking each other and everything. Some of the fights, especially near the end of this one, because it's this Blue Leaves club or something, and the fighting just goes on and on and on. Then there's more henchmen and more henchmen. I'm like, this has gone on way too long.
It's like an anime.
But the action is just all cuts. It's way too much cuts. And I don't like action like that.
I thought it was great.
So,
and the music is great, and I love the girl band.
Okay.
I think the girl band is terrific. Yeah, I can't believe you don't know what happened to David Carradine.
I'll have to look that up sometime.
He was naked and hanging and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought that's what I remembered correctly. Anyway.
Okay.
He's dead.
Sure. Uma Thurman, Lucy Liu, Vivica A. Fox, Michael Madsen, David Carradine.
They're not really in it. They're
there.
in the next one more so.
Yep.
Because that's the next phase. And I love all the Japanese guys yelling at each other, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of
hilarious.
Similar to other Tarantino movies, there's a lot of long scenes and it's all just dialogue, right?
There's a lot of yelling. You don't really all know what they're saying, but they're just yelling at each other.
With subtitles.
It's funny.
I
they
didn't
get so angry.
I didn't really enjoy that myself. I didn't find that funny, but
I thought it was just they're all so angry and
yeah.
Anyway, it's just a thing. I don't know. It was really it's like a cartoon. It's like an anime cartoon. That's what I get from the whole thing, but it's a real movie.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know the whole story. We'll find the rest of the story in part 2. But you know that she's getting vengeance.
And they're all part of some assassin squad, and they all got different code names. So Uma Thurman is Black Mamba, and
yeah.
Vivica A. Fox is Copperhead.
Oh, Copperhead.
Lucy Liu is Cottonmouth.
They're all snakes.
Daryl Hannah is Mountain Snake. Why are they all snakes?
They're just the way that they did it.
And why is Black Mamba seem to be the best one? That's the best title.
Well, you'll see more in the next part, but it's just a squad.
She gets really beaten the crap out of in this.
She does, but she's relentless because she's a mother who has been scorned.
Yeah, that's something.
Bride. She's a bridezilla.
Never mess with moms because they got all that maternal energy and
brides.
They're ready to go like that.
Don't mess with brides on their wedding day. There's a reason why they're called bridezillas.
Sure. The I don't know. So I didn't really get a lot of what was going on there.
Oh.
There was some not so good things with the hospital and that, and there's some guys there who got what was coming to them. When she was comatose in the hospital, and then she wakes up and has to deal with these terrible douchebags. This one wasn't as good as other Tarantino movies for me. I mean, it's the humor that you enjoyed. There's nothing more subjective than humor. So when they're arguing back and forth in Japanese, at the restaurant there, the two guys there, and they're just going on, get this, why do I have to do it? Why don't you do it? I'm lazy. That didn't really work for me. So,
anyway,
this is not one of the Tarantino movies that I enjoy, although I did enjoy the action to a certain point. So I'll give it credit for that. It definitely has some, you can follow the action, and they really tried really hard. There's a lot of big swings here. A lot of big swings, but big misses too. It didn't quite get there. And I'm just not a fan of...
We see this kind of fighting all the time now in movies, but at this point we did not see it.
Well, yes, but when all you're doing is just cuts and shaky cam, that's not good directing or good cinematography for an action sequence. And I'm not saying that because it's Tarantino. Anyone who does that, I don't like it. I don't think that's a really good way of doing action. However, the fight with Vivica A. Fox at the beginning, That was probably my
It's
favorite
fantastic.
of the whole thing there. And then it kind of just like, what's going on here? Yeah, you only get bits of information. There's flashes to different time periods, which I didn't find that confusing. But at the same time, you're kind of, what's going on here? You know, this movie's almost 2 hours, and we still don't know what's going on.
I knew what was going on. It's a bride and she's getting her vengeance.
But there's a lot of mystery
It's not that
boxes.
complicated.
She's getting
really.
revenge, and they slowly give out the information. So Bill must have shot her at one
Well,
point,
we see
but
that in the very first scene.
but wouldn't she be dead? Like if
You're not always dead when you get shot. No.
where did she get shot? In the
In
head?
Yeah, she has a plate in her head. You weren't paying
Yeah,
attention.
yes, there was a plate. So I'm thinking he didn't.
You weren't paying attention. Well, she says it's your baby, and he misses.
No, she says it's your, and then you get shot.
Yeah, and he misses.
Is it his baby?
Yeah.
I don't know. I
So
can't
she
remember.
says. You don't. We just watched it like last night.
No, I meant
think you
the
don't
second
remember.
part. I meant the second
She
part. This
says
one was
that,
unclear to me.
And anyway, they ruined her wedding. They killed everybody. They killed her baby. She's after them. It's not that complicated. And she's like on a vengeance. She's a mom and a bride with vengeance.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated to me.
In a sense, she's like female Punisher, except
Yes.
it's with katanas instead of guns and knives.
And although there are some guns in it.
Yeah, what's with all those Yakuza and their swords? Don't they have guns?
It's because it's the style. It's supposed to be copying these movies. It's supposed to be about the swords and the, what is that thing on the end of the chain? I forgot what it's called.
I don't know. That's kind of like a mace.
Yeah, like the mace.
But
thing.
I don't think it's
not a
actually
mace.
called that.
No, mace has a stick.
Yeah,
Anyway,
there's that
whatever.
Go-Go
It's,
Yubari.
Yeah.
Is one of the characters.
And,
Sophie Fatale is in it as one of the henchmen.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I think the story is more basic than some of his other ones, but I still think it's good.
Maybe I think what
like
turned me
too.
off of this is a very fantastical world and very stylized, as you said, and I didn't really buy into that.
Okay.
I definitely admit that it certainly has its own unique style, but some things about this, it was just off for me. It didn't quite work for me. And I've been trying to figure out what it is. Maybe it's the unrealism of this world there. I mean, I love that the fact that it focuses on all these badass female characters. That was great. And all the men in it seem to be either terrible or useless. Okay?
There's not many men in it.
Yeah.
I mean, the
and
boss
the few
guy
that
there, he's hard to defeat. She knocks him down like 3 or 4 times. He does keep on
Oh, that
coming
Kato wannabe?
I don't
He's
know.
wearing a Kato
They
mask.
wear masks.
And in black
it's
too?
stylized. It's all about, it's supposed to be it's style.
Is it? You think
It's
that's
supposed to be
a
Japanese.
Bruce Lee reference? Because Bruce Lee played Kato in the Green Hornet series
No,
back
I don't
in the
think
60s.
So at all. I think it's just a whole thing with this trying to be like a cartoon in real life, and it's homage to Japan in a lot of ways as well.
Yes. Okay, so do you have a favorite character from this?
I don't know. I don't have a favorite. I don't usually have favorite characters in movies.
I said that the fight at the beginning with Vivica Fox and Uma Thurman was the best for me. What final thoughts were? What rating would you give this?
I give this probably like a 91.
91, really? Okay, but
it's not my favorite because I don't like so much violence.
Yeah, and there's a lot of violence in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's Kill Bill. It's in the title of the movie, right? There's gonna be some violence going on here.
Compared to the other films, I think it's better than Jackie Brown, but I think it doesn't have the story that the other ones have.
You know, maybe it was because some of the characters were missing, like some of the actors were missing, like Sam Jackson, who pops up in a lot of Tarantino's movies. I think he's in the second one, but only in a cameo. On the internet rating system, I'm going to give this the unpopular opinion. I'm going to give this the worst movie ever, because this just didn't really work for me.
You were paying attention.
And I know I'm in the minority. I did have some fun with it. I remember the first time I watched it, I was bored out of my mind, and I was not bored watching this. It had some slow moments in it. However, this is not one of the Tarantino movies I like, because I'm not a fan of all of his stuff. Okay?
Okay.
This one so far, out of the 4 that we've watched, this one's at the bottom for me.
Okay.
So far. Okay? But you enjoy it, and if other people enjoy it, don't let me take that away from you. That's just how it works for me, you know? It's art, it's very subjective. But we thank anyone who watched this video and anyone who gives us a thumbs up, a like for this. And hopefully you'll come back for more of Tarantino Unchained next week.
So Tarantino is 10.